Generic greetings and welcome to a bittersweet day, as this is purportedly the last official Prison Architect update. Today's beverage is a very nice and chilled and indeed freshly squeezed orange juice, not by me but by someone in the factory. Either way, welcome to the Sunset update, which is apparently the last Prison Architect update. With this update we have focused on improving the player experience as much as possible. We thank you all for playing Prison Architect. That is indeed a line in the sand. The idea with this update, as far as I can tell, is basically have it as their swan song. They have improved a lot of things, fixed some bugs, actually several bugs according to the full list, which we will check out in but a moment, and indeed added a couple of little extra bits. So in this video I wanted to go through the patch notes as an exhaustive list, which is not something we normally do. I'll show you some of the new stuff in game and obviously discuss what that means for the game going on in the future, as well as its future on this channel as well. So we go for the quality of life improvements and features. Super Dogs Mutator. Due to the undeniable fondness of them, we've added a new mutator based on the Super Guard mutator, which will help give our furry friends an upgrade. Yes, that's something we could have done in the last big legendary game. We have a Capacitor 2.0. I introduced to you the Capacitor Max Plus, an upgraded version of the capacitor which allows your power stations to produce twice the amount of power than it did before. That was actually something that was going to be added in the last update but was not for various reasons, but it's good to see it finally appear in the game. Remote doors. We've added a coloured variant for the remote doors for both Death Row and Supermax security levels, so yeah, it's fine, more colours, more better. Ride van speed. Due to the efficiency of airbound emergency units, we have increased the movement speed of the ride guard vans to lower their arrival time. Updated descriptions. After sweeping through the game, we decided to update or add a number of new text strings. As such, we've updated the text from item descriptions, staff descriptions, and also need descriptions. And that's all it is in this list. What we're going to do is quickly jump into the main game. I'm going to see about the dog mutator, the capacitor, the remote doors, etc. It might even bring in the ride vans, why not? And then we're going to go through and see what the list is exhaustively. So loading up the super duper happy, totally not violent legendary gang facility, and we're going to check out some extras and some mutators, and indeed we have super dogs. Man's best friend just got turned up to 11. They're bigger, stronger, faster, and less likely to need a nap. Let's click OK, and we'll zoom in and... Okay, them dogs are massive. Okay, right, yes, fine. Let's just go ahead and hire some more just because we can. And we're going for dog handler. And, funds is always a problem. Increase bank loan and spend it all on dogs because why would we not? Oh, look at the cute woofers there. Absolutely take your face off. Right, so there you go. We've now got super dogs. Definitely could have used that in this build. Not that I think it would help the outcome, but it would be useful for, well, not having the dogs disappear immediately when they get looked at. Anyway, we also have a couple of other things. We have utilities and the Capacitor Max Plus, which costs 2,000 generic units of currency, and it will apparently generate twice the amount of power. Might as well go ahead and just dismantle a couple of these and see what that's like. While we're waiting for that, we'll have a look at the walls and doors and our door section. We have remote door red, remote door maroon, a remote door black, and, well, basically they've got remote door colours, which is fine. Always a nice little addition there. And finally, well, if we were to say, for example, I mean, do we really need to bring them in? Let's go for ride police. And, yeah, they seem quicker. They seem quicker. I mean, I can't remember from memory how quick or slow they were, but, well, there you go. Oh, it looks like the worker is removing these, as was our order. And let's go for Capacitor Max Plus, which one can go in there and one can go in there. To be fair, though, placing these, they do actually remind me of something. Oh, it's the battery. They have a similar look as the battery, although to be fair, the battery is just like a 9-volt battery, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to prioritize the building of those, and ironically, we may not even see them because they obviously are trying to build them. Nope, you can't see a thing. Right, so capacitor. Let's just sell that. Oh, there we go, they've moved them. So there is the capacitor. It is different. It's not just a scaled up version of that. There's not just been open up Photoshop, click and drag 25%. It is actually different. It's got 2 stripes rather than the 1, and bigger terminals, etc. So it is, it is something new. All right, well, yeah, it says added descriptions. We're not going to go through and check out exactly what's changed for descriptions, but what we will do is jump over to the forum perhaps and have a quick look at the list in its entirety. Right, so here we are. Hello, Wardens. Here is our final update to Prison Architect, the Sunset Update. This one's for you. So we've already touched on the quality life improvements and features, so we're not going to go through that again. However, the full changelog is quite revealing. There is a lot of stuff in here, so, well, let's have a quick look at it. Firstly, for all platforms, unconscious dogs can now be loaded into a crate and healed to be reunited with their handler. That is really good, a very nice feature indeed. Dog handlers can now pet their dogs in the kennel. That is not a useful feature, but a very desired one. I just like the idea of the dogs being treated better, and a nice little bit of just a nice little touch there, I think. Pre-made maps, green power plant and the working fields, both from going green, have got a couple of little additions there. So missing tile being found, radiators and water pipes added, door orientation fits, etc. I'm not going to go through all of those. It's just the fix some maps. Cooking ingredients are no longer being misdirected to the bakery. Didn't know that was a thing, but glad it's fixed. Pantries are no longer required to be indoors. I could see that being useful. You could put the pantry outdoors around a fence, or where you've got all of your planting stuff. You don't have to have a foundation. So, yeah, it could be quite useful. Objects in water will now be removed from where the island would like to be. So we can place islands where there's just stuck objects, and the objects will go, perhaps. Either way, always good to see improvements with the island-bound DLC. Jobs no longer created when placing different kinds of water on shallow water. I have had problems in the past with moving things around and staffing and that, so again, always good to see improvements there. 4 new inmate heads. Okay, that's so different heads for the inmates, so we'll see different people. Making quick islands now checks the current water type and matches it for the new water. Ah yes, water harmony. And it is now obvious for which side the projector is the front, always good. So for PC and Mac, we have medical beds will now unload after extended infirmary time, so no longer people being stuck in the infirmary. That is always good. Placing foundations will only remove outdoor plans, e.g. fences. You can no longer delete a wall and would leave the paper lantern. Can't say I've even ever placed a paper lantern as far as I can recall. But either way, it's fixed. Guards now stand in the centre when using a tracking monitor, much better for their necks. Yes, the posture was a bit nerd-hunchy. One-hit killing victims now appear on the summary screen, so I guess that would be escape mode stuff, I think, as well. Anyway, female prisoners with babies now have the ability to gain rep points in escape mode, so it's actually playable. No longer possible to hire staff on the edge of the map, right? I could sort of see why they might get stuck. You can no longer overlap prefabs over the grove or outdoor lake. Info about crop distribution and logistics menu now shows properly in all languages. Green Energy Goal 7, reduced penalty from weather effects, now works properly on solar panels. Good. Export meters now had their connections cleaned up. Solar panel development program no longer has unnecessary tag. Recycle bins now properly recommended. I'm reading a lot of going green DLC stuff here. Is that a trend? Saving the game, a workman carries a wilted crop will no longer magically make said crop start growing in that location. I mean, it's good that things like that are fixed, but if it was funny in the first place, that's I guess, half the battle. Dead bodies now lay properly on the morgue slabs. Delinquents have been properly cached on where to spawn and now stay together. Backup generators no longer demand electricity when connected to electricity. That's a weird one. Armed guards and hired dog handlers. High text fits the box in every language. Left-hand pause is the only set for handed items, so use right-hand pause for like any other one-handed item. Have no idea what that is, but yeah, apparently that's a thing. Sounds like moddy stuff, but I don't know. The colour of the uniforms in the game now save correctly. Yellow line tiles now have the correct orientation when cloned. Oh, okay, fair enough. I'm personally a big fan of those yellow lined ones. Glass walls. I don't. Do we have a grass wall? I think we do. We do have a flowery wall. Anyway, glass walls will now display more nicely. Bit vague, but apparently it's better. Workers are no longer trapped when removing rubble from under a jail door. Can't say I've noticed that as a problem, but it is no longer a problem. Fixed issue with guard rank UI not updating correctly when the rank is changed. I think I've seen that previously, so it's good that that's sorted. Guards will now return trays to the canteen. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, Prison Architect. Undead have had their heads reattached properly. Okay, I don't know if that was a problem. Robot dogs now sniff like robot dogs, not biological dogs, so there'll be in the sound update there. Added oddly toolbar sprite to the sprite replacer. Inmates no longer attempt to eat backwards at tables. Can't say I remember seeing that, but at least it's fixed. Custom shakedowns no longer include no access zones. Inmates no longer use visitor-only zones. That was a bug we had in the previous build, so it's good to see that fixed. Stun button no longer flashes when it shouldn't. Oak benches now have been given permission to seat 3. Tracking menu will no longer show dead. And in the campaign, we've got a couple of improvements there. Inmates using camp beds and netted camp beds are once again permitted to receive birthday presents. We did have a couple of problems with the birthday presents, so good to see that was fixed. And the road no longer blocks a staff hire placement. So there you go. That is, well, there's several in there that I've personally experienced, and obviously there's a lot more than others may have went through as well. So good to see that being touched upon. We will go through the console stuff, even though I'm not a console player. Crops will no longer show a red outline when you're attempting to plant on valid spots with objects in planting radius. Doors have learned not to appear on the top of turbines. Yes, the doors are learning. Fixed so that you cannot spawn multiple doors when changing UI. Ferry docks will not render as overlapped. Issue with air plumber hoses and helipad stairs fixed. You can now see yellow line for the trajectory of the taser. The bounty hunters have been given maps as well as lessons on how to hunt the undead. So what, were they just stuck or something? Workers are no longer trapped when removing rubble from under jail door. Apparently that was a problem on the main build as well on PC. Tracking belted inmates go to the infirmary first when overdosing. Door timer now corrected. Update time, new regime item, should I say. Paper lanterns now can be correctly dismantled and dumped, and removed unwanted pixels for hybrid wind turbines. Multiplayer, because that is still a thing. Fruit trees now correctly sync between host and players. Drip pipes and sprinklers now properly work for players. Expires in for players now matches the host. Auto harvesters now... It's all going green. Auto harvesters now properly work for players. Prisoners without cells added to data register, so the player gets a value on connecting to the host. Just various fixes for multiplayer is what I'm picking up here. Tracking monitors will no longer constantly show a false error for players, and planning area rendering not updating or if a change from the wall with foundations planning to fence planning. I'd have to read that 7 times to understand it, but apparently it's sorted then. And lastly, escape mode. All items now resize. Or should I say, realize that they must make noise when damaged. Yes, actually, we've had that before where we're hitting things and there's no noise at all. I just assumed there was more going on and I didn't hear it. Prisoners no longer stay in a tunnel if attacked by guards outside of the tunnel. And on console, inmates can now move after doing a rough sleep in solitary. And then Warden mode. Bottom right menu buttons will now only show notifications at the proper time, and dead guards can no longer serve as bodyguards, which is, well, I guess that makes sense. So yeah, that is a fairly big list of changes and improvements. Is there anything there that you have experienced personally and glad to see it's fixed? Or is there anything else in terms of bugs that you would like to see fixed and is not listed in this? Let me know in the comments. Finally, it says, it has been a real joy and honour here at Paradox Interactive and Double 11 to work on this game for you. It's been just over a decade, feel old now, since Introversion first published out an alpha build of Prison-Architect, and the game has come so far since then. While we're closing this chapter, the book is certainly not yet finished. We'll see you around. So there we go. There is all of the changes and updates for what apparently is the last update for Prison-Architect. So what does that mean for the game and indeed its future, not just in general, but also for here on the channel? Well, firstly, it's nice to see a lot of these things added and changed and improved, and I personally experienced, as I said, many of the bugs that they've apparently fixed in that list, so that's good to see. As for the game, well, it ain't going away. There's many updates that you can play. You can activate and deactivate all the DLCs. You can even go back to the old introversion updates, not just the 1.0 release, but also the anniversary release. So there's all that there waiting for you. But I do think that is a fairly decisive line in the sand. I don't have any insider information. I should make this clear right away. But yeah, it's as far as I can tell, it is the last update. Now, I don't personally believe it will be the last update if there's something major found, if there's a bug or something crept into this build and it's going to break something. That obviously will be hotfixed. But in terms of noted updates and noted additional features and DLC, I think that ship has well and truly sailed. So does it mean never featured again on the channel? No, of course not. That would be nonsensical. In fact, if anything, having a lot of these issues that we've seen removed from the game and a nice bit of polish added, I have more of a desire to jump back on and play something. And additional side note, what would you like to see in terms of the ideas, the builds, the overall theme of the facility? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, it has been, I guess, a long road, and we are at the end of it for PA. And I guess with a lot of this comes some disappointment, but also we can sit back in the knowledge that, yes, we've seen a decade of a game that many people have known and loved and enjoyed, and, well, as I said, it ain't going anywhere. Anyway, we are going to leave it there for now. That has been a bit of a discussion on the latest and indeed last update for Prison Architect, the Sunset Update, aptly named, and a bit of a sweet moment. Nice to see some additions and lots of improvements and bug fixes. But yeah, it is at an end. We have come to the end of the road. But then again, not many titles get a decade of support and content. So yeah, it has ran its course and sort of put out to pasture. Let me know what you think in terms of the update, the bug fixes, your experience with it, etc. And just one final thing before we close this video off. There was a trailer dropped along with this update, and I will put a link to that in the video description. And at the end there was something curious and, well, signs and portents, who knows. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.